This is Nightline and I'm Muhammed Hamdan, and here are the top stories. Thailand, Cambodia agreed to immediate and unconditional ceasefire. And Health Ministry seeks total vape ban. Good morning. We begin with this headlining story. Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire, effective from midnight on Monday amid a deadly border conflict between the two nations. The agreement was reached during a special 2-hour meeting chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, involving leaders from the two countries. Anwar, who also serves as ASEAN chair, described the outcome as a significant step toward restoring peace and stability along the shared border between Thailand and Cambodia. The meeting between Thailand's acting Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai and Cambodian Prime Minister Muhammed took place at the Sri Pradana complex in Putrajaya at 3:15 p.m. The session was aimed at easing heightened tensions following the worst border clashes between the two countries in more than a decade. Also present was United States Ambassador to Malaysia Edgar D. Kagan, who co-hosted the meeting, while Chinese Ambassador to Malaysia Ouyang Yujing attended as an observer. Thailand and Cambodia share a long history of diplomatic disputes over their 817-kilometer shared border. Since the latest round of fighting erupted on July 24th, more than 35 people have been killed and over 270,000 displaced across both countries. Malaysia's continued efforts to bring the two nations to the negotiating table have successfully led to a positive outcome.
Prime Minister Muhammed and Acting Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai have expressed their positions and willingness to immediate ceasefire and return to normalcy.
Anwar added that Thailand and Cambodia will also hold an informal meeting involving their regional commanders. Malaysia is also prepared to take the necessary measures to ensure the ceasefire is upheld.
Malaysia stands ready to coordinate an observer team to verify and ensure its implementation. Malaysia will also consult with fellow ASEAN member states to participate in the observation effort.
Meanwhile, Phumtham expressed his appreciation to Anwar for his dedication to resolving the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia through diplomatic dialogue.
While continuing to protect our sovereignty and the life of our people, we agree to a ceasefire with assurance measures that it will be carried out successfully in good faith by both sides.
Thailand's decision to cease hostilities also underscores its strong commitment to resolving the ongoing conflict through peaceful means. At the same time, Muhammed expressed confidence that the ceasefire would allow hundreds of thousands of residents along the shared border to return to their normal lives.
We hope that the solutions that Prime Minister Anwar just announced will set a condition for moving forward for our bilateral discussion to return to normalcy of the relationship and as a foundation for future de-escalation of forces.
He added that the ceasefire would pave the way for military cooperation between the two countries, beginning with the regional commanders' meeting set to take place on Tuesday. Now, the U.S. has welcomed the ceasefire agreement between Cambodia and Thailand announced in Putrajaya on Monday, urging both nations to honor their commitment to end the conflict. In a statement, U.S. President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio expressed their gratitude to Anwar for his leadership and for hosting the ceasefire talks. They also reaffirmed the U.S.'s support for the peace process and pledged continued engagement in the U.S.-Malaysia-led efforts to resolve the dispute. The ceasefire brokered by Malaysia marks a critical milestone for both Thailand and Cambodia. However, geostrategist Azmi Hassan believes the true success lies in Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's ability to bring together the US and China, rivals on many fronts, to engage in dialogue alongside the two Southeast Asian nations.
I think it's very interesting how Datuk Seri Anwar maneuver between the conflicting China and United States, in particular trying to exert their influence in ASEAN. Even though Malaysia as a chairman doesn't want ASEAN to be more inclined to the other superpowers, but in this particular case, Malaysia need the influence of the both superpowers because they have the influence both on Thailand and also Cambodia. So I see it is very, very interesting that Malaysia willing to call the States, China, sits together because the more important thing is that to achieve a ceasefire.
Meanwhile, Rights Foundation Chairman Muhammad Yusuf said the ceasefire deal reflects Anwar's strong commitment to regional peace. He described the breakthrough not only as a diplomatic success, but a triumph of the ASEAN spirit in safeguarding regional stability and the safety of civilians in both Thailand and Cambodia.
Distinguished guests,
The dispute between Thailand and Cambodia dates back more than a century, when the borders of the two nations were drawn after the French occupation of Cambodia. Things officially became hostile in 2008 when Cambodia tried to register an 11th century temple located in a contested area as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a move that was met with heated protests from Thailand. Over the years, there have been sporadic clashes that have seen soldiers and civilians killed on both sides. The tensions exploded into a deadly battle at the border last Thursday, plunging bilateral ties to their lowest point in more than a decade. Each side is blaming each other for causing the escalation. Thailand has accused Cambodia of then firing rockets, while Bangkok carried out airstrikes on Cambodian military targets. Anwar later departed for Jakarta for a two-day working visit to Indonesia, which will include the 13th annual consultation with Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto. The aircraft carrying the Prime Minister touched down at the Halim Perdana Kusuma International Airport at 8 p.m. local time, where he was received by Malaysian Ambassador to Indonesia, Datuk Muhammad Said Hasrin Tengku Husin. Also present to welcome him were senior Indonesian government officials, including Foreign Minister Sugiono and Home Affairs Minister Tito Karnavian. During the visit, the Prime Minister is also scheduled to deliver a keynote address at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta. In 2024, Indonesia ranked as Malaysia's sixth largest global trading partner and second largest within ASEAN. Moving on, Malaysia is moving towards a total ban on the use and sale of electronic cigarettes or vape products. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said his ministry is currently reviewing the legal, enforcement and public health implications before enforcing a complete ban on vaping. According to Zulkifli, a thorough assessment is underway to evaluate the effectiveness of existing control measures, as well as the need for a more comprehensive policy to safeguard public health.
Dan penggunaan rokok elektronik atau vape ini, penelitian terperinci serta tindakan susulan di peringkat kerajaan persekutuan masih diperlukan. Seiring dengan itu, Kementerian Kesihatan sedang menuju ke arah pengharaman sepenuhnya terhadap penggunaan dan penjualan rokok elektronik atau vape bagi mengekang isu ini secara lebih berkesan.
He added that the ministry also welcomes the decision by the state governments of Johor, Kelantan, Terengganu, Perlis, Kedah and Pahang to stop issuing or renewing vape sales licenses. For the ministry, priority is being given to enforcing a strict regulatory framework under the Control of Smoking Products for Public Health Act. The ASEAN Power Grid APG project is now in its final phase and has begun attracting interest from international investors, including several American firms. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof said the current discussions are focused on regulatory harmonization as well as business and financing models.
World Bank, ASEAN Bank, Asian Bank, ada approach kita, some even American companies and so on. Tapi for now, apa yang kita nak fokus ialah to come up with standardization, to come with a business model yang perlu dipersetujui dulu.
He was speaking on the sidelines of the Green Technology Business Conference. A clearer direction for the APG project is expected to be tabled at the ASEAN Energy Ministers meeting this October, with regulatory and financing matters expected to be finalized by the end of the year. A bill to make secondary education compulsory was tabled for its first reading in the Dewan Rakyat on Monday. According to Deputy Education Minister Wong Kah-Wah, the Education Amendment Bill 2025 second and third readings are also slated to be completed in the same session.
Puan Yang di-Pertua, saya mohon rang Undang-Undang Pendidikan Pindaan 2025 untuk bacaan kali pertama.
Rang Undang-Undang bernama Satu Akta untuk minda Akta Pendidikan 1996.
Bacaan kali yang kedua bila?
Puan Yang di-Pertua, bacaan kali kedua pada mesyuarat yang sama.
Clause 2 of the bill seeks to amend the Education Act and redefine compulsory education to include secondary schooling. Clause 3 proposes an amendment of the same act to require parents of Malaysian children to enroll them in primary school. Meanwhile, Clause 4 introduces a new Section 32A which empowers the minister to make secondary education mandatory and proposes penalties for non-compliance. The Dewan Rakyat was also told that a total of 465 cases of encroachment involving federal land have been detected from 2015 up to May this year. Acting Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani said the encroachments involved more than 215,000 hectares of federal land. Johari noted that most of the encroachments involved the construction of squatter homes, food stalls and small businesses on government-owned land.
Melaksanakan tindakan penguasaan ke atas pencerobohan tanah milik persekutuan, JKPTG akan melaksanakan penyelesaian bersama-sama dengan agensi penguatkuasaan. Ada juga tindakan-tindakan yang kita very extreme. Mereka tidak mau keluar, ada structure, maka kita akan bawa ke mahkamah. Dan kalau dia didapati bersalah, dia punya fine can be more, not exceeding 500,000.
Johari explained that every parcel of federal land has a designated development plan. However, its implementation depends on national priorities and the availability of approved funding. Datuk Wan Ahmad Farid Wan Saleh has been sworn in as the 17th Chief Justice of Malaysia. The official ceremony for the presentation of the instrument of appointment and the oath of office was held before the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim at Istana Negara on Monday. During the ceremony, Wan Ahmad Farid also received the instrument of appointment as a federal court judge. The event proceeded with the signing of official appointment documents. The ceremony was witnessed by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and Deputy Prime Ministers Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof. At the same ceremony, His Majesty presented the instrument of appointment for the President of the Court of Appeal to Datuk Abu Bakar Jais, followed by the instrument of appointment for the Chief Judge of Sabah and Sarawak to Datuk Azizah Nawawi. In addition to the 3 top judicial appointments, 8 judges of the Court of Appeal and 14 High Court judges also received their respective instruments of appointment. Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) has revised its GDP growth forecast for the year to between 4 and 4.8%, taking into account the current tariff conditions and ongoing trade negotiations. The decision on Monday marks a downward adjustment from the earlier projection of 4.5 to 5.5%. In a statement, BNM Governor Datuk Seri Abdul Rashid Ghafur said Malaysia's economy remains resilient despite global uncertainties. Meanwhile, growth is expected to be driven by encouraging trade negotiations and supportive domestic policies, alongside sustained demand for electrical and electronic products, as well as continued momentum in tourism activities. The median monthly salary for Malaysia's formal sector workers rose to 3,000 ringgit in the first quarter of this year, an increase of 5.5% compared to 2,840 ringgit in March of last year. Chief Statistician Dr. Sri Muhammad Uzir Mahidin on Monday said the growth was driven by overall economic recovery and the positive impact of the minimum wage policy. The highest median wages were recorded in the mining sector, while agriculture remained the lowest. Meanwhile, Kuala Lumpur saw the highest wage levels overall, with Kelantan and Perlis the lowest at just 1,800 ringgit. Still, over 27% of formal workers are earning below 2,000 ringgit a month. That figure, however, is an improvement from over 31% recorded in the same period last year. The United States and the European Union have reached a wide-ranging trade agreement, ending a months-long standoff and averting a full-blown trade war. The EU will pay 15% tariffs on most goods, including cars. In exchange for the 15% tariff rate on EU goods, the bloc would be opening up their countries at zero tariff for American exports. In addition, the EU would spend an extra $750 billion on US energy products, invest $600 billion in the US, and buy military equipment worth hundreds of billions of dollars. The EU is Washington's largest trading partner, with two-way trade in goods and services last year reaching nearly $2 trillion. Cikgu Bat among two arrested over effigy of PM. More on the local news when we come back.
Jadi betul lah dia dah kahwin. Dah kenapa pula aku nak kena rahsiakan perkara ni? Aku syak dia kena kahwin paksa lah dengan lelaki tu. Macam mana kau jaga Aira? Kau dah buat apa kat dia? Dia isteri aku. Bagus sekarang kau nak cakap dia isteri kau. Lepas macam-macam kau buat dekat dia. Aku takkan biarkan siapa-siapa sakitkan dia.
Suka hati kau lah.
Ni semua mesti ada kaitan kan? Kenapa kau suruh aku sembunyikan pasal Tok Wan dari Aira? Awak sendiri pernah cakap kan? Awak akan kahwin lepas yang awak dapat balas dendam.
Rumah ni bahaya untuk awak.
Dari ratusan bakat dan puluhan idea luar biasa, hanya yang terbaik berjaya menambat hati juri. Tahniah kepada semua pemenang pencarian pelakon drama sangat dan pitch story anda ke TV3. Inilah wajah-wajah dan karya yang bakal menggegarkan industri drama tanah air. Terima kasih atas sokongan anda semua. TV3 sentiasa bersamamu 41 tahun penuh drama.
Jerat Pilyaba membimbangkan.
Lepas tu barang risak ada tu.
Barang risak saya.
Apa mau lagi kena buka kamu?
Tengok lagi ni.
Penipuan kerja sambilan scammer semakin licik.
Aku cuma perlu buat booking hotel untuk turis. Dan setiap booking yang aku buat tu, aku akan dapat komisen sebanyak RM100.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton. Welcome back. A drug trafficking syndicate believed to be actively operating in the Klang Valley has been successfully dismantled following the arrest of 3 individuals in separate raids in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor last week. During the operation, police also seized over 145 kilograms of shabu worth nearly 5 million ringgit. Acting Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Yusof Jan Muhammad said the raids were conducted at the parking area of a shopping mall in Kuchai Lama and at a terrace house in Sri Kembangan. A total of 132 plastic packets believed to contain shabu were found at both locations. 3 suspects detained during the raids, including an Indonesian national, are believed to be the mastermind and couriers of the syndicate. Initial investigation revealed that the syndicate had been using the gated terrace house as a storage facility for the drugs.
Nilai dadah tersebut kita jangkakan lebih kurang bernilai 4.8 juta. Dan jumlah dadah tersebut kita percaya boleh digunakan seramai 728,400 orang untuk kegunaan.
He added that the syndicate believed to have been active since May was also suspected of distributing drugs to neighboring countries. All 3 suspects aged between 32 and 61 have been remanded for 6 to 7 days from July 25th to assist investigations. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Bukit Ahmad has detained 2 individuals to assist with the investigation into the opposition rally led by PAS last Saturday. Inspector General of Police Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Ismail confirmed that the probe focuses on participants who brought and flogged an effigy resembling the Prime Minister during the protest. Port Dickson Bersatu Division Chief Badrul Hisham Shaharin, also known as Cik Gubat, is among those detained. This was confirmed by his lawyer Muhammad Rafiq Rashid Ali. In a statement, the top cop said the act of flogging the effigy was recorded and uploaded on social media. He added that the 2 men aged 21 and 47 were detained to assist in the probe. The case is being investigated under the Sedition Act, Penal Code, Communications and Multimedia Act and Minor Offences Act. The Welfare Department JKM and the police rescued 20 children, including a 15-day-old baby girl, during a special operation called Op Abai in Seberang Perai Tengah, Pulau Pinang last Monday. The victims were found at 2 separate locations, a warehouse which was unfit for habitation and a house operating illegally as a learning centre. The raids were carried out following public complaints alleging child abuse and neglect at both premises. 5 adults believed to be caretakers were also detained. Authorities reported that 5 children were found inside the warehouse, which was in deplorable condition, while the remaining children were located at the house. The group of children comprised 10 boys and 10 girls of various nationalities, with only 6 possessing valid identification documents. It is believed that the children have been deprived of basic necessities, including adequate food, clothing and safe shelter. They have since been placed in safe custody under a temporary court order issued by the Bukit Mertajam Magistrates Court. JKM has also set up a special task force to handle the case, which is now under police investigation. 6 dead in Bangkok market mass shooting. The details after this short break.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Saya Zairil Azim dan saya melakukan sebagai watak Dr. Hakim dalam Setia Itu Mahal. Dr. Hakim ni adalah suami kepada Delina, seorang suami yang penyabar. Tahap kesabaran Dr. Hakim, seorang suami itu masih cuba untuk menyelamatkan rumah tangga beliau. Dan saya percaya ramai di antara di luar sana ada suami-suami yang macam ni, yang menghadapi masalah dan ujian yang sama tetapi masih juga tetap cuba untuk menyelamatkan rumah tangga masing-masing. Laki-laki tidak bercerita tapi tahu-tahu dia pergi meninggalkan kita.
Tak miskin pun lah kalau awak tak kerja.
Benar nak gaduh.
Zaya!
Sekarang awak nak berkasarkan saya. Kalau awak rasa saya ni tak guna sebagai isteri, lepaskan je.
Jadi kalau nak tahu kelahiran karakter saya ni, jangan lupa untuk saksikan Setia Itu Mahal hanya di TV3.
Setia Itu Mahal mulai 28 Julai, Isnin hingga Jumaat 7 malam. Terbaru di Akasia TV3.
Dalam tempoh 30 kali mangsa dirogol ni, mangsa tidak dapat melawan sebab kerana mangsa adalah seorang yang OKU fizikal, ayah dia juga merupakan seorang yang panas baran.
Ayah pun tak sekolah benda ni akan berlaku.
Saya nak betulkan keadaan persepsi masyarakat ni. Lagipun saya seorang imam.
Itu tanggungjawab saya. Dunia akhirat saya akan bertanggungjawab.
InsyaAllah Nisa, Abang akan cuba untuk bahagiakan Nisa.
Ada hati konon nak kat Nisa. Kesian.
Kak.
Lagi betina tu ada. Tengoklah. Tak lama lagi hancur rumah tangga kita ni.
Biasalah Nisa, bila suami tu dapat isteri yang sentiasa bahagiakan suami dia akan sentiasa bersiap.
Aku dah warning kau kan? Jangan kacau bini orang, faham?
Buat turun dan layan tonton sekarang. Semua favourite anda di sini.
Welcome back. News from the foreign front. At least 6 people have died in a mass shooting incident at a busy food market in Bangkok, Thailand on Monday. Officials said the gunman opened fire at the popular RTD market at 12:31 p.m. local time, killing 5 security guards before taking his own life. 2 market vendors were injured in the shooting. However, no tourists were harmed. The gunman, identified as Thai, had reportedly been involved in previous disputes with the market's security guards. The motive for the shooting is still under investigation. RTD market is a major tourist destination in Bangkok and throngs with visitors every weekend. At least 43 Palestinians have been killed across Gaza since dawn, including 9 aid seekers. Zionist forces also opened fire on Palestinians waiting for food at 2 locations in Gaza, killing 1 and injuring many. Meanwhile, 14 more Palestinians have died from malnutrition in the past 24 hours as hunger continues to worsen across the enclave. The deaths occurred as over 120 truckloads of food aid were distributed in Gaza by the UN and aid agencies during the first day of a limited ceasefire. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, stressed that Gaza requires 500 to 600 aid trucks daily to meet basic needs. A landslide caused by unusually heavy rain in northern Hebei has killed 4 people and left 8 others missing, as authorities issued flood warnings in Beijing and at least 11 other provinces across northern China. So far, authorities have relocated more than 4,400 people as relentless rain continued to pound the suburban area of Miyun in Beijing, causing flash floods and landslides. Beijing issued its highest level flood alert, while Shanxi province also released flash flood risk warnings on Monday. Authorities stated that heavy rainfall would continue to drench northern China over the next 3 days. In other news, massive fires broke out over the weekend near Turkey's 4th largest city, Bursa, forcing more than 3,500 people to flee their homes. The death toll from wildfires near the city of Bursa rose to 4 late Sunday following the deaths of 2 volunteer firefighters. This brings the total number of wildfire-related fatalities to 17. The fires near Bursa are among hundreds that have affected the country over the past month. Turkey's forestry ministry said the country was battling at least 44 wildfires on Sunday, with the most severe in Bursa, Karabuk and Kahramanmaraş. And on to sports, sailing, the PWE Cup 2025 match racing. The National Sailors SSL Team Malaysia, also known as the Monsoon, further solidified its reputation by securing the championship with a 2-0 win over top contender River Rat from Selangor at the Royal Selangor Yacht Club on Sunday. SSL Team Malaysia was led by skipper Muhammad Uzair Amin Muhammad Yusof, with team members comprising Nur Amira Hamid as main trimmer, Abdul Latif Manso as pitman, Ahmad Shukri Abdulaziz as trimmer, and Asri Azman as bowman. The tournament served as a preparatory platform for the national sailing squad ahead of the upcoming SEA Games in Thailand this December, where they are set to compete in the keelboat SSL 47 event. It also marked the beginning of early preparations for the Asia Zone Star Sailors League qualifiers, which are scheduled to take place right after the biennial games. Turning to cycling, the 2025 Tour de France, Wout van Aert denied Tadej Pogacar a prestigious win on the final stage of this year's race as the Slovenian secured his fourth Tour title on Sunday. Reigning champion Pogacar entered the final day with a lead of over 4 minutes, making only the stage win up for grabs in Paris. Despite wet conditions, he joined a six-man breakaway during the thrilling 132-kilometre finale, but Van Aert attacked on the final climb to Sacré-Cœur de Montmartre, securing victory on the Champs-Élysées. Italian David Ballerini finished second, with Matej Mohoric in third and Pogacar taking fourth place. In the general classification, Pogacar finished 4 minutes and 24 seconds, ahead of his main rival Jonas Vingegaard, while Florian Lipowitz claimed third place in his debut appearance. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at visuals of 2025 Road and Transport Department RTD Excellence and Fitness Course, which ended on Sunday. The course saw more than 1,000 RTD personnel from around the country participating in fitness activities, including 11 sports events. Selangor RTD was crowned the overall champion after winning 3 events. With that, I'm Muhammed. Thanks for watching and stay safe.